If you're looking for a used vehicle in the Chicagoland area, North Naperville Autos is your one-stop shop for quality pre-owned cars. Stop in and visit or browse their inventory online at www.northnapervilleautos.com. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2006 Subaru Outback 2.5 XT Limited. Up front is a 2.5 liter turbocharged flat 4 and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Outback for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is the cool turbocharged version of the Outback. I haven't driven this vehicle specifically, although I have driven a Legacy in this same setup, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. But the other reason is the fact that I love Subarus. I think this is a really, really good Subaru, and I'm excited to share that with you today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradle.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you can get a video of your car just like this one, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter turbocharged flat 4 under the hood. Well, Subaru back in 2005 said, hey, we have a pretty cool engine in our WRX. What if we stuck that in the Outback and Legacy? And so they did. This engine makes 243 horsepower, which at the time was pretty beefy considering what it was up against and considering the fact that the Outback and Legacy didn't really have much performance pedigree, at least here in the United States. Of course, there was the Legacy GT back in the 90s that was twin turbo, and I've reviewed one of those that I'll leave at the end of this video. But here in the States, the Legacy and Outback were kind of mom cars. And so to put the 2.5 turbo into one of these was kind of a fun little thing that Subaru did. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed automatic. However, you could have found these also with a manual transmission, a 5-speed manual. If that's something that you would have wanted, I would of course prefer the manual transmission. I've driven manual Subarus from this era and I love them, so I would imagine this would be pretty good. However, I am glad to see the 5-speed auto as opposed to a CVT, so I'm not going to complain in this video. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course the Outback is all-wheel drive. It has Subaru's signature symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which I think was the best in the industry for quite some time, especially here in the mid-2000s. So what is it like to drive the Outback XT? Well, first of all, the actual driving dynamics are pretty nice. Visibility is good. Steering and throttle input are good. The turbo does take a little bit of time to spool up, so cruising around you get a little bit better fuel economy than if you were in boost all the time. However, you definitely feel that 243 horsepower, and back in high school, this thing was a ripper. All right, we're fully warmed up. Let's see what this little thing will do. Put it over into sport. There's the boost. And it stays. I'm running out of road. I missed that. To me, back in high school, when I was a kid, I didn't know much. That to me was a rocket ship. I love it. That power is mwah. For an everyday car, you really don't need much more. You really don't. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. I love the red glow around the gauges. It looks fantastic at night as well. On the steering wheel, I actually have front-facing paddle shifters. So both of these plus and minuses you're seeing on either side here work as paddle shifters going up and down the gears, if that's something you'd like. It's very strange. I don't really like these forward-facing buttons. I thought they were the volume for a second, and when I hit it, it actually downshifted into second. So, kind of strange. The overall steering wheel is decently thin, which I always prefer, and it actually is a genuine Momo steering wheel. Subaru had a deal with Momo at the time to use their products in their vehicles, and I love seeing that. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, as well as my mirror adjustments, gauge dimmer switches, and heated windshield wipers, something the Outback has done for a while and I've always loved. Moving on to the door, we have the power windows, as well as power locks, of course. And moving into the center, you do get a funny little storage cubby up at the top. We used to shove our phones in here back in high school. And then I do have a little information center with my miles till empty, current time, and all of those goodies. Then I have the 6-disc changer as well as radio and climate controls all sort of wrapped up into one central area. For the radio, we do have Seek and Scan, like I said, CD player, AM, FM, those goodies. And then for climate controls, I actually do get dual zone, which is really nice to see for 2006, as well as, of course, fan speed, AC, all of that. I do also get a little pop-out ashtray and cigarette lighter, and then we have the shifter itself. Like I said, it is a 5-speed auto. It's a jigsaw style shifter, and I can move it over into sport mode as well as plus minus if I'd like to do that. Then we do have our heated seat options. I like that the little light comes on when they're engaged and turns off when they're not. I think that's a nice little interesting touch. And then we have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2006 Subaru Outback 2.5 XT Limited. And the bottle fits. However, there's no like back piece, but it looks like there's supposed to be a back piece. So I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna give this thing a pass. I have left my water bottle in the cup holder for this entire review and it hasn't fallen over. So to me, I think that qualifies for a big friggin' bottle pass. Then we do get a little center console, and then we gotta talk about the seats. Like I said, they're heated and they are power, as well as they are memory, and I like them. They do have a little bit more of a laid back feel, which I've come to know and love from this chassis. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2006 Subaru Outback 2.5 XT Limited, and a couple of things to note. First of all, backseat space is not great. I've said this about pretty much every Subaru product in this era. Mid-2000s Subaru back seats are not good. And the reason I always say it, they're not good. I'm fitting back here. My knees are hitting the seat in front of me. My head's coming close to the ceiling. It's not why I say that. There's plenty of cars that I feel that way. The thing is that you get so much trunk space, which you'll see in a second, and the chassis is so long for a wagon. I feel like they could have given you an inch or 2 or 3 or 4 of extra space, and they don't. Maybe the gas tank is down there. Maybe it's the way everything's packaged. Maybe it's the all-wheel drive system. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, and I don't claim to be. However, I've just always been frustrated with the amount of room that you get back here, and then you have miles and miles and miles of trunk space behind you. It doesn't really work out in my head. But speaking of trunk space, let's go hop out and see all of that mileage. All right, around the back of the Subaru Outback 2.5 XT, little handle down here, and look at how much space you get. Hello! See? That's how much space you get. I mean, so much room. And if you put the second row down, you might as well have a U-Haul truck. Now, I can go under this mat. We do have this little handle. Pick it up, and we do have some storage options down here as well. But even without that, there's so much room in the back of the Outback, and of course the Legacy, which it shares a chassis with. I love it. There's so much space. I feel like they could have moved these seats back an inch, 2 inches, maybe, and it would have made the back seats so much better. But alas, they didn't. So if you're looking for cargo space, this is the car to have. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I've always loved the look of this generation of Outback / Legacy. This is 100% almost the textbook definition of macaroni styling for me, where it is sort of blobby and mushy, but has that warm nostalgia for me. Like I said, one of my close friends in high school had a Legacy version of this. And so whenever I see these, I get a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. However, I do want to note that these wheels are actually off of a newer Subaru Crosstrek. So if you notice these, recognize these, or want these for your Subaru, they're actually off of a late 2010s Subaru Crosstrek. But I think they actually look fabulous here on the Outback XT. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving an Outback 2.5 XT as opposed to the Subaru Legacy GT? Well, I think this car is really, really great. I think it does a lot of things really well. I love the power that it has. Definitely enough power for you to have fun and enjoy. I also like the ruggedness. I like how the Outback sits a little bit higher than the Legacy. I like the extra body cladding that the Outback gets as opposed to the Legacy. But honestly, to me, and this is going to be personal to me, I just love being in here. I love the amount of light light that you get from the sunroof, but it really just reminds me of when life was a lot simpler back in high school. My friend Nick and I, we used to ride around in his Legacy, and we would listen to Chance the Rapper's 10 Day, or Acid Rap, or Coloring Book, or we'd listen to Mac Miller, Blue Slide Park, Faces. And I'm showing footage here from that era, back when I was just getting into things. We used to get in a car just like this, and we'd go to Dairy Queen, we'd go to Speedway gas station, get some Slurpees, get some M&Ms, some Skittles, some Watermelon Sour Patch, and we would just drive around with no destination at all. We had a turbo engine, so we'd pass, the Honda Odysseys and Toyota Siennas that riddled our neighborhoods. It had a decent enough sound system. Now, of course, in that time, we had a Bluetooth transmitter going to the FM radio, and sometimes you'd pull up to a car that was also using one of those, so you'd kind of cross-contaminate your radio stations. So it was pretty crappy, but for us, it was the best. This car represented freedom. This car represented our youth. This car was our innocence. I can't tell you how many hours we spent driving in circles, squares, and rectangles around our town. How many gallons of gas we probably completely wasted just to listen to another album. And so Subaru, taking their fantastic 2.5 turbo out of the WRX and sticking it into one of these cars, was probably one of the best decisions they ever made. I think this car is incredibly well-rounded and offers everything I want. I love this car. It's always going to have a special place in my heart, and driving one today has only reiterated that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me take out their Outback 2.5 XT. They are absolutely awesome. They offer financing, shipping to the 48 states, as well as they are Carfax certified. I can't say enough good things about them. And as a fun little Easter egg, if you call them and they don't answer, I am now the voicemail of North Naperville Autos, so either call them late at night or on a Sunday, and you'll hear my voice. Fun little Easter egg for my viewers. So, huge thank you to North Naperville Autos. Please check them out with the information down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.